and make them look like they came out of a Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild to see that take off. And
Yeah.
for those who might not be familiar, Studio Ghibli, that's the legendary Japanese animation studio, Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata.
Right, yeah.
And they've given us so many like classics, Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Howl's Moving Castle, exactly. Like their films just have this look, this feel that's so recognizable.
Yeah.
And it's resonated like with audiences worldwide.
Yeah, and that's like the aesthetic we're talking about that's being applied to like everyday pictures, thanks to AI.
Yeah, it's everywhere right now.
Yeah. So what our goal today is to kind of like get to the bottom of this trend and understand why it's happening now, what it could all mean, for us.
Absolutely.
We've got some really interesting stuff to dive into. So let's get started.
Okay, so it seems like the whole thing kind of started in this really simple way with this software engineer, Grant Slatton.
Okay.
And he shared a photo online, like a family photo, but it was AI generated, and it was in that Ghibli style.
Oh, wow. So that's how it all started.
Yeah, and it just like exploded,
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, right? It's like that visual style,
Mm-hmm.
which is so appealing. It's
Mhm.
beautiful. It's kind of dreamy. And you put that on something personal like a family photo, and it's like instantly shareable.
Exactly, like you want to show people.
Yeah.
And I think the timing was just perfect for this because we've seen, some pretty huge advancements in technology lately.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with like the release of GPT-4o from OpenAI.
Right.
And this has made it so much easier for people to get their hands on this AI image generation technology,
Yeah.
even if they don't have, specialized knowledge or anything.
So it's like user-friendly now.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can create these really sophisticated Ghibli-esque images without having to be like a computer whiz.
So the technology is like easier to use and the results are better.
Exactly.
But why Ghibli? Like, what's the big draw right now? Why is this aesthetic so popular right now?
Right. Well, if we look at like the bigger picture, there's this whole element of nostalgia and escapism, I think, that's going on.
Okay.
The sources we're looking at, they suggest that like when times are kind of uncertain, when things are a little rough, people tend to seek out comfort in things that are familiar.
Right.
Things that they love. And Ghibli films, they offer this like really soothing and beautiful escape from reality.
Yeah, they're so peaceful.
Yeah, and so taking that style and applying it to your own personal images, it kind of taps into that comforting feeling.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. It's like finding something familiar, something you love in a new context.
Right.
And then I feel like social media just amplifies it all, right? Like once you see a couple of these Ghiblified photos on Instagram or X, it just creates this wave of people wanting to try it themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like this visual cycle of inspiration and sharing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's also interesting to like dig into how this magic actually happens, because it's not just like a simple filter you slap on a photo.
Right.
These AI models, they're trained on huge amounts of visual data.
Oh, wow.
Including, lots and lots of Studio Ghibli films. So they learn
like learning the visual language of Ghibli.
exactly like the colors, the way characters are designed, the overall mood, it's all in there.
Wow.
And they analyze your photo and then they apply those like learned stylistic elements to it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And one of the sources mentioned this thing called generative adversarial networks, or GANs, which is like this really interesting process where you basically have two AIs competing against each other.
Right.
So one is trying to create Ghibli-style images, and the other one is trying to tell the difference between those AI creations and real Ghibli art.
Wow.
And through this like back and forth, this competition, the generator AI gets really, really good at mimicking the style.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
So we've talked about like the fun of seeing, our own photos Ghiblified, but what are like some of the bigger implications here? Like what should we be thinking about with this trend?
Well, I think one of the most interesting things here is how this trend highlights AI's growing ability to democratize creative expression.
Okay.
It's putting these really powerful artistic tools into the hands of everyday people.
Right. So you don't have to be a professional artist or animator to create something, beautiful and in this distinct style.
Exactly. Like anyone can do it now.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So to kind of wrap things up, it seems like the Ghibli trend is this really fascinating mix of, technological advancement, this deep connection we have to this like beloved artistic world, and our human desire for comfort and, and for creative expression.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing how AI can now let us reimagine our lives through this iconic style.
Yeah, and it really makes you think about how this increasing ease of AI art generation might reshape, how we see and value traditional artistic skills going forward.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thought, something to definitely consider.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for this awesome deep dive.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was really interesting to learn about all this and, explore the different aspects of it.
Absolutely. And I'm curious to see where this trend goes, next.
Me too.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next time.